To permit ignorance is to empower it. To do nothing as others proclaim absurdities is a crime of complacency. And we begin our podcast right there.
Computers are live, mixers up, levels are good, equalizers good, ready channels 1 and 2. Mic is live in 3, 2, 1, roll it. Welcome, listeners, to the My Practice, My Business podcast, where we teach dentists and their teams how to reclaim forgotten profitability in dentistry with our clinical business of dentistry training. And now, the host of our show, the clinical director at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
Hello, podcast listeners. It's Dr. Rob with My Practice, My Business. Thanks for being here with us today. I don't know of one dental office that is happy with their PPO reimbursement rates, or dental insurance tactics of claim denials, or coverage of benefits, or with some, even their own fee-for-service fees. Yet, doctors and office managers continue to be business complacent and feed off of the absurd proclamations made by those who have falsely taught half-truth absurdities about dental insurance protocols, rules, and regulations as if they were factual and without question. And then I find my colleagues and their trusted office managers feeding off of each other with these facade-covering avarices who wallow in quagmires of silly dental insurance protocol notions, proclaiming to know everything when it comes to dental insurance rules and regulations. My team and I don't know everything, but as our clients will tell you, we are light years ahead of those who profess to know everything about the business of dentistry and insurance protocols. There, I've said it, and I'm there. Please indulge me to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Tracy and I had the opportunity to present the Clinical Business of Dentistry introductory course in the Great Northwest this past week in Seattle. What a beautiful area. We were actually in the Bellevue city, and it was just so beautiful up there. I love it. And the room at the Marriott was filled with 23 dentists and their guests and wonderful sponsors. They were Patterson Dental, Straumann, Ivoclar Vivadent, Wells Fargo, and a high-end dental lab called Cosmetic Dental Arts. During our training, I tell the story of what happened to me back in 1991 with Blue Cross Blue Shield and how the regional manager, Mary, taught me how to offer choice to my patients, such as upgrading to better crowns from high-end dental labs and charge for it. But we don't leave it there. We continue with recorded conversations with all the major dental insurance players, with them stating the same thing Mary had taught me years ago. We even show a video of the past general manager of Guardian Dental Insurance teaching all who will listen the protocols for increasing revenue with upgrading certain dental products and procedures. The doctors and their office managers listen and watch as I reveal truths never before imagined by the large majority. They come to our seminar to learn about ways to increase their revenues. And when they listen to the truths we present, they all listen with shock on their faces, with blank stares in their eyes. I love when I present because I'm staring back at them, looking at their reactions. They can't believe what they've just been taught. It's right in front of them, and they know it. They know it, but half of them attending simply can't wrap their arms around these simple yet firm business principles of truth. They can't imagine how in this world they can implement our revealed business principles within their dental practices. They can't even believe what they are hearing, let alone how to implement what is being taught, and it's not hard. Knowledge is power, my friends, but when we choose not to pursue truth and knowledge, we simply empower ignorance. The owner of Cosmetic Dental Arts, Gary Smotherman, good friend of mine and our independent contractor with MPMB up there in the Seattle, in fact, the whole state of Washington, had a very unusual experience years ago when a patient came into his lab for a custom shade. And this was before Gary even knew us, even met us, okay? That patient was told he could only get a certain type of crown because of the limitations of his dental insurance. That's right. His doctor told him that. And quite honestly, a good business-savvy doctor. In other words, his dentist was not going to place a more expensive crown in his mouth because the insurance reimbursement simply would not be adequate enough for his dentist to be profitable on the procedure, let alone break even. Tell me this doesn't sound familiar, folks. That dentist was absolutely correct, and I back him up. And I completely support his business decision to place a basic all-porcelain crown in his PPO-driven patient's mouth due to insurance reimbursement rates. That is simply good business when it comes to profit and loss. Too many of us put the best materials in and we're upside down. That's why you need to come to our training. However, my good friend Gary was asked by this patient if a better crown existed than what his dentist sent him in for to acquire a custom shade on. Gary, being a man of integrity, told the doctor's patient that there are better crowns he could produce. This is where Gary had an epiphany and thought outside of the traditional dental box for a mere second. He told that patient he could do the better crown for him, and he, the patient, could just pay the lab an agreed upon amount for the cosmetic upgrade. This is so fun. The patient was ecstatic, and he paid. Gary had just uncovered something that could potentially keep high-end crowns in patients' mouths instead of cheap ones. What a concept. We all know dental labs are capable of doing unbelievable work, but we also know those crowns are way more expensive, and the large majority of us try to find labs and negotiate fees for crowns that don't cost as much, especially on patients with PPO plans, because we can't afford the better crowns. That's how we think we can be profitable. And all of you know that have been through our training that the better crowns are way more profitable than the cheaper ones. Continuing my story, it didn't stop there with Gary. He started to see if he could legally do this with all his custom shade clients coming from practices, thus helping the patient get a better crown and the doc delivering a more cosmetic product to the patient that they would be happier with than the basic one. What an incredible business idea Gary had. This was a win-win to the doctor, patient, and lab owner. Gary realized that this was the coolest way to promote the best in oral health care to his doctor's patients. Needless to say, Gary began to uncover what we here at My Practice, My Business had a wealth of knowledge on. One Google search led to another by Gary, and soon thereafter, he was in touch with our company. We have been working with Gary ever since. Now, as many years ago, we not only knew what Gary had discovered was a simple business principle that was ethical and legal to do, but we also shared with Gary all the rules and regs of the state of Washington on this very protocol. In addition, we had recorded approvals of the major dental insurance players in his state, in addition to all the other states, verifying upgrading was just fine to offer and charge their insured clients for, but it had to be done correctly per their protocols. Gary was so excited to share this information with his client dentists. So Gary, he proceeds to go out there and preach his newfound truths, which few doctors and office managers even knew about. Of course, only to be shut down by the majority of those very same office managers and doctors who choose to be ignorant, who choose to allow the absurdities of others to dominate their dental business down the road of non-profitable complacency. Yet those same doctors and office managers continue to gripe and complain to high heaven about the injustices propagated by the very PPO plans they take. Heaven forbid those dentists and office managers take the word of an open-minded lab owner who was not afraid to ask the right questions. Not to worry, Gary. These same dentists and office managers disregard the wisdom of this dentist who's talking right now, who happens to be a private investigator, who not only asked the right questions, but has them recorded, published them, and taught them for years. I love Gary. what an outside-thinking individual, but don't let your heart be troubled. Out of the 22 offices we taught that night, we didn't get back to work, and 3 of them have already contacted us to go through our clinical business of dentistry training for their office managers and their teams. They are the ones who will experience hidden revenue streams, who will reclaim forgotten profitability in dentistry. Again, they are the ones who will be able to pay out bonuses to their staffs on a regular basis without stressing, take their dental teams on trips to Hawaii every year, and fund their retirement accounts faster because they're profitable with the procedures they provide. They are the ones, Gary, who will be able to send their patients' crowns and bridges and implant cases to labs like yours because they understood in our training how patient choice promotes trust, and how it should be the patient's choice as to what type of crown should go in their mouths. And they are the ones who understand how to charge the patient for better materials instead of giving away free dentistry. They got it that night. The rest of them, it's fear. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again. Fear for something new. They don't understand. What you don't know, you don't know. But in today's climate, you have got to understand profitability, corporate profits, and actually your break-even analysis. You've got to know it. To permit ignorance is to empower it. And that ignorance is what dental insurance companies hope dentists continue to do. Let me say that again. To permit ignorance is to empower it. And that ignorance is what dental insurance companies hope you and your team members will continue to do, because that's where they want you to be, under their thumb. Our clients at MPMB learn how to not empower ignorance. To do nothing as others proclaim absurdities is a crime of complacency. For those of you who have been through our training, I know you are not complacent in your dental business anymore. If only all docs and office managers knew what you knew. What a wonderful group of dentists and team members who attended our training last week. Implement what you were trained on and watch what happens just with that small amount. Don't let fear control the truths you know, that you now know and understand. Dentistry is such a wonderful profession. You and your teams deserve to be paid fairly for your skills and expertise as you provide the very best in oral health care to your patients. It truly was an honor being with you last week. What a great group of dentists that we have up in the Northwest. Tracy and I have the privilege of being able to travel around to the offices of our clients in different areas, and we actually got to stop at a couple of our clients' offices, and it was so fun to watch their teams interacting with patients and watching their doc do work while we're not working. It's always a lot more fun to see somebody else working hard when we're not working hard. But it was exciting to see the teams interacting, especially with the training that we've given them. And it was fun to see see them battling the insurance companies like never before. And we go in and give a couple of the offices help in doing so. But what was really exciting for me was to see that they practice dentistry basically the same way we practice dentistry here in Utah. They have the same struggles that we have. They have the same fun that we have with their teams. And that's always exciting for me and my wife to be able to see other doctors and their team members just going through the day-to-day motions that we go through in our practice in dealing with patients and helping them and providing their oral health care to the best that we can. I applaud them. They're normal, just like I am. I don't know if we can all say we're normal in dentistry, but let's keep thinking it. Thank you so much for tuning into the My Practice, My Business podcast. You can find additional podcasts you may have missed that will help you with your dental practice at Apple iTunes Podcasts. And remember to become a subscriber to our podcast. Many of you have asked how to help support the My Practice, My Business podcast. If you have enjoyed the program and information you received today, the best way to help is to leave us a 5-star review. Thanks again for allowing us to be a part of your day.